I think we're live on the Facebook, on YouTube, I mean. Hello, everyone. Hopefully, I think we're already live on YouTube. I'm still trying to ascertain that to be sure that we have it. Yes, today, 9th of November 2024, we will be having our live with Aisha, and our guest today is Kenneth Okonkwo. Okay, I think okay, yeah, so we have hello Moyililo Uchechukwu. You're the first to comment. Thank you so much for joining. Ada Obi. Thank you also for joining. Chiji CDN, Elizabeth Lawson, Philip Ikenna, Collins Chiaka, Chinedu Kingsley. This is Chichi World, and so many of you that have already joined. Thank you so much for joining. And at this moment, also, I'm going live on TikTok. I'm not very familiar with TikTok, but I'm just full. I just try it because I see a lot of conversation going on there. For me, it's as much as possible. Let's have these conversations that say, hey, how do we rebuild our country? What do we do to get things going? And so, yeah, we're live. As we wait for our guests to come in, let's keep on the conversation going. After the first 30 minutes, we'll be bringing on some of us that would love to be on Zoom to come join on Zoom and send in those messages and let's have them going. I'm still waiting for Kenneth Okonkwo for the guest of today, to join us in. Hello, everyone. Ibiale Janet, welcome and thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. We will be having our conversation today, and today's conversation is on nation building and the way forward. It is one thing for us to say that, oh no, things are not going to work, things won't work this way. It's another thing for us to actually say, will we make it work? Before the people who are destroying Nigeria, come on, people, they don't have two heads. The only thing they have is audacity and also consistency in the fact that they never give up. No matter how many times they fail, they wait and they come back. And so if that's their secret, what stops us also for being audacious in the kind of things that we dream about, we want, and also insisting that if we go down, we simply stand up. Come on, bring on the failure. I mean, who failure kill? You fail, you stand up, you keep going. It's not the one that you fail and then you're like, oh no, things are not going to work, things are not going to do this. It's not that is not usually the way to go. Sorry, let me just send a message off to our guests and I'm like, good evening. We have started the program. So for me, it's always, and I say this thing when people are like, oh, I've given my all to Nigeria. Oh, I've spent a certain time. Oh, because of that, I will no longer do this. I'm thinking, and yeah, you gave your best to Nigeria, but it doesn't work now. So let's keep working, Jerry. It is not that we gave our best or we gave, but at the same time, I totally understand with people who feel like they are tired because they don't want to be part of anything. It's okay. And it's also okay to allow people who want to be part of something, who are doing it, to actually go ahead and continue what they're doing. Thank you so much, Chinedu Kingsley. Thank you so much for your kind words. Somebody said no visible. Are you saying that I'm not visible? Please let me know. If the fact is that you can't see me, please go ahead and just write it down. Moses Afuwe, I always enjoy your program. I hope this would equally bring joy to us. Thank you so much, Moses, for your kind word. And I look forward to my guest, joining me and let's get this done. Emeka Okaka, God bless you too. Zeb, hello, how are you? Prince Will Ukwi, it's a pleasure having you. Craig Bell, thank you for joining. Hadi, Ibiale Janet, Afro Tribe, thank you also for those of you that are joining me on TikTok. Remember what I said? I'm not very familiar with TikTok, but I'm trying to get my way through it all. As we also wait for our guest to come in, let me be sure that he's not in the waiting room. I don't think so, because if he comes into the waiting room, they definitely are going to let me know that someone, I mean, Zoom does that someone is in the waiting room. But today we're going to have having that conversation around nation building, like I say, and what are the way forward. Some people say that no, election is not the way forward. Some people believe it's revolution that is way forward. Some people believe that let's just pray. That's why they're organizing national prayers already. But one of the things I've been saying to people is that look, the people who are destroying Nigeria, they actually pray more than we do. And they have the names and numbers of all the big pastors and malams on speed dial. They have the money to give. If you are giving 10% of your salary as tithe, they can give 1 billion, 10 billion of your money as tithe. So who they go pray for more? If you are giving 1 million as sadaka for the malam to pay for you, they will come and give billions as sadaka. And guess who the malams will be praying for more? So we just sitting down and thinking that we are going to outpray them. We are going to outpray them. I don't think so far. Oh, yes. Kenneth Okonkwo is here. So we're thinking that we are going to outpray them. It might not work. It might not work that way. So while we wait for our guest to be, he's already here while we bring him on. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. For those of you that are on YouTube and also those of you that are on TikTok. Yeah, those on YouTube, I'm sure they will be able to see him because of its link. The Zoom is linked directly there. But those on TikTok, at least you'll be able to hear him, even if you can't see him for now. But as we go on, hopefully, as we go on, maybe there's a way that I can stream on both apps at the same time. Hey, let me know. I'm always learning. You can always reach us on live with Aisha01@gmail.com. Thank you. Hello. Can you hear me? Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
You can go ahead, please, and also put on your video so that they will not think that I cloned your voice and I'm using it here. Gang, gang. I can't hear you anymore. Okay, I don't know what's going on. So let's. Okay, fantastic. I think you're muted.
Okay.
Oh, great. Hey, the chief don't arrive in September. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
God bless you abundantly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining. Sure. Hello, everyone on YouTube. If you can see him, just give a thumbs up. Let's know that, yes, indeed, that you can see Kenneth Okonkwo. He has graciously agreed to join us today. And I must say thank you so much. I just butted in and asked you, please be on the show. And you were so gracious and you accepted to be on this. We'll dive right in. You know that this is the part where they do all of that reading of the profile. Your profile, you know, go feel read for here. If we say we want, so but we are sure everybody know, but let's not to assume, sha. Just introduce yourself to us and we just dive right in.
Yes, I am Kenneth Okonkwo, a lawyer, a columnist, and a public affairs analyst. That's just what I am.
Absolutely. And many more in between, but he's humble to just keep it short and to the point. So, my brother, I'm going to start this way. Nigeria is at a place where there are a lot of people that haven't seen it this way. There's a generation of Nigeria that haven't seen Nigeria this bad. And I don't know whether Nigeria has ever been this bad. As a child, I can remember the structural adjustment program during Babangida, how tough it was. I was a child then. Now I'm an adult. We are adults. Some people think that there's no hope at all for Nigeria. Do you believe in that school of thought, or do you believe that there's hope if we do something about what's happening?
Well, first and foremost, I want to agree with you that no generation in Nigeria has ever seen it this bad. Because there is no time in Nigeria we have ever suffered unavailability and unaffordability. There is no time in Nigerian history that Nigerians have ever suffered unavailability and unaffordability. It's either in the past that we suffered from unaffordability and is available, or we are suffering from unavailability even when we have the money. But there's no time we have suffered that we cannot afford something, and even that thing we cannot afford is not even available. Take the issue of fuel. Fuel has never costed 1,200 naira officially per liter. And in the olden days, this is the money, the highest you can get it in black market. Meaning, even if the government does not have fuel, if you have up to that amount, you'll be able to afford it in the black market. But unfortunately today, fuel is 1,000 and something, and yet it's not affordable, and yet it's not available. Let's take the issue of electricity. I don't have light now. That is why I am outside enjoying the light God gave me free of charge, enjoying the breeze. So I don't need to use air conditioner, because Tinubu's minister said we should even stop using our refrigerator as a way to manage the issue of lack of light. So electricity, again, the tariff is going up, yet it is not available. So there's no time in the Nigerian history that it has been this bad. And I pray that there will never be a time again in Nigerian history that it will be this bad. And the reason it got to this level is because we have people who are hypocrites that are in power. There is no nation that will have it green all the time, because life is about ups and downs. But you would have good leaders. When they are telling you to make sacrifice, you will see them making sacrifice with you. So if we had leaders, for instance, that are making sacrifice when they are telling us to make sacrifice, we won't have it this bad. Because what is making it unavailable and unaffordable is that we have leaders who are taking all the money, using it for themselves. And then that corruption and that incompetence, they want to make the people to pay the price for all of it. In other words, they are telling us they've removed subsidy. And they told us the reason they wanted to remove subsidies to use the money for the people. Yet, they remove the subsidy and they are using the money for themselves and taxing the people the more. They're taxing us more in electricity, taxing us more even in VAT. Everything this government is bringing to National Assembly is to tax the people more. So what happened is that they are transferring the burden of all their corruption and incompetence to the people while bearing none of it. That's why the president can buy private jet for himself when the people can no longer afford keke. And he can buy beast, as in the car he's using, almost 1 billion naira. When the people can no longer afford transport to go to work, the cost of his plane is about 150 billion naira. That's why he can budget 21 billion naira to complete the house of the VP. When the people are buying rice for 100,000 naira a bag, that's why he can give 20 billion naira for the house of his chief of staff. When the people cannot afford the cost of cement to even build their own boys' quarter. That is why he can give billions of naira to the wife, the first lady, an unelected office, while children are dying of hunger and hardship, and they are protesting. That is why he can tell you that his reforms are working, because he himself and his family are insulated from it. He himself and his workers and the politicians who have become his accomplices in the National Assembly and everywhere, they are insulated from it. So he cannot have the guts to tell you it is working. When in a week you have more than 5 national grid collapses, yet his reform is working. When, as you can see, 50% of our hospitals are collapsing, yet his reforms are working. And it's a shame that I even saw somebody from National Assembly come on national television to begin to defend the government, when the National Assembly ought to be the check and balance that we have. So this government knows how to settle the people that he needs to make sure they don't defend the people. So what happened is that the people are now being the people bearing the burdens alone, while the government is busy enjoying. And that's why they can tell you with all the punishment that their reform is working. So this government, there has never been anyone like this, and there will not. You know, when Buhari finished, I said no government will be as bad as Buhari's own. But I have seen now that it's like we were in Christmas during Buhari. So I can no longer now prophesy that there will be no government again like Tinubu. I can only pray that there will be no other government like this one. But this man is showing us renewed hopelessness. What my brothers in the north say, renewed shege. Please, Aisha, help me and give me the correct interpretation of renewed shege. Hello? 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 Hello?
Yes, thank you so much for staying on. I think something happened from my own end, the
Okay.
network. But you can hear me now, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
So I want
Fantastic.
you to help me.
You
Please,
went off where
what's the meaning of renewed shege? What's the
I
meaning
mean,
of shege?
do they need hopelessness we were talking about? That's what just happened to my Zoom. You know, right now, it's like, oh my goodness, you were at a place where you were talking Tinubu's illegitimate administration will be the worst Nigeria will ever have. I remember in 2018 or 19, I can't remember the year specifically now, when I did similar prayer to say, may Buhari's government be the worst we ever have. And a lot of people came on attacking me, you know, all sorts of, and I said to them, the worst would mean that it will be better on from now on, but somehow many people didn't get it. But I truly absolutely understand what you were just saying just now. Unavailability and unaffordability.
Yes.
Anyway, for those on YouTube and TikTok, please, you can join us live with Aisha01@gmail.com. Send me an email for the link at 5:30 thereabout. We have people join us. Please also take your pen, because I assure you there's a whole lot that we all can learn from today. While you are speaking and reeling out all the things that they have done in terms of the fact where they don't feel the pain of the people, they're wasting our money. All I was thinking about was that they just put out 5 billion naira to be used to
Hello? 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 Yeah, your network is not performing.
this is crazy, man.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I just started hearing you.
Oh my goodness. It says my network is unstable. I don't know why this, but I said I'm in Abuja, so of course the renewed hopelessness is affecting all of us, especially the closer the proximity to the whole thing, the worse it is. So the further you are away from Abuja, the better it is. So for those of you who are further away, I was just talking about the 5 billion naira that has been budgeted for the renovation of the vice president's residence in Lagos State.
Well, you see, the list goes on.
Yeah.
The Dodam Barracks that has not been in use for many years, located in Lagos, just a stone's throw from Tinubu's house. That would have been a fantastic place for him to go and stay. Yet they budgeted billions to repair it. A man who has the interest of his people at heart, this ought not to be his priorities. A man who knows that he borrows money to do all these things, this ought not to be his priorities. His priority ought to be productivity. Productivity that will be yielding employment, yielding products for us, making us net exporters of things so that we can now generate our own foreign exchange to be able to sustain our naira. There is no magic in strong currency. Strong currency is predicated on strong economy, and strong economy presupposes an industrial productive base and a steady export. So this president ought to have specialized and prioritized productivity as a way to raise a very strong economy so that we will be solving all these problems. That is prioritizing consumption. And because his family is insulated from the economic hardship, he does not care to give a contract worth 15 trillion naira, one contract without procedure, without people, coming to bid for it in a competitive manner with a company which he and his family has interest in. One contract, when you have other routes that ought to have been used at least till the time you are buoyant. 15 trillion naira is almost like half of the whole budget of Nigeria for one road. That is not a priority. That will lead in greater destruction of the property of people at a time when the economy is depressed. So this president and his government is not thinking for the people. They are thinking for themselves and their families and their cronies. That is why I am sorry. The hardship may not stop soon. Look at what's happening in NMPC. You can agree with me. Even the World Bank said all the operations are opaque. They are hidden in mystery, which all of us do not know. and the president happens to be the minister of that ministry. And so, how do you think we will survive? The NNPC say they are owing more than 6-point-something billion. Then you begin to ask yourself, what did they use the money to do? That is why we are in deep trouble. That a company removed fuel subsidy and the debt profile of the company is increasing. Then what are they using the money for? That's why I said unaffordability and unavailability. And the only thing that can make us to be in such a situation is corruption and incompetence.
Corruption and incompetence, indeed, it is the reason why we're here. You made mention of the National Assembly, and I think most times people don't realize that National Assembly members are supposed to be our activists. They're the ones that are supposed to hold executive, accountable and so many other things. How can people hold the National Assembly members more accountable?
In all honesty, democracy can only fail when the legislature is more corrupt than the executive. Democracy is built not on the executive, but on the legislature. The symbol of democracy is the legislature. That is why, in actual fact, the legislature has more powers than the executive. It is the legislature that can only check the executive by our Nigerian constitution. When they say immunity, there is no executive in Nigeria that is enjoying absolute immunity. That is what people don't understand in law. The constitution simply said the government cannot be tried, but they did not say the legislature cannot try them. You see, they simply shifted the burden of trying the executive to the legislature, because they said if you subject the executive, and I agree with it, to 200 million persons, especially in a litigious nation like Nigeria, that the executive will not be doing its job. But if you now elect your representatives, and your representatives will now represent you, if the executive does what is wrong, your representative now can try that executive. And if he's found wanting, they will remove him from office. The legislature has the power to make the law. The executive does not have the power to spend any 1 naira, except with the approval of the legislature. The legislature has the power to oversight the executive. In other words, when they make that law, they have the power to hold the executive accountable to the law they have made. There is no executive that can approve of any high-ranking judge or members of the INEC or his own ministers without the approval of the legislature. So you can see that it is the legislature that has brought us to this situation. If nature and government, if they were sure that executive will behave very well, they wouldn't have any need for the legislature at all. So the only reason the legislature came to be is because they have proved of it that every man that is invested with power is apt to carry his authority as far as he can go. And if there are no limits in the ordinary palace, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. So the whole idea of the legislature is to check and balance the executive. And once you don't do it, be rest assured that the executive is going to go haywire and the nation will suffer for it. So what happens is that every executive, because the only way the legislature can be in the pocket of the executive is through corruption. That's the only way. So if you remove corruption now, you will see that the legislature will hold the executive to account. How can a country have a ministry? They have only one product, and that product has a ministry, and the legislature, right in front of them, everything that is done in that ministry is hidden in mystery. Nigerians do not know about it, and they cannot even bring those people to account. No transparency, no accountability. If Tinubu is the minister of petroleum, he cannot be a judge in his own cause. He cannot indict himself. I cannot go to court and sue him for criminal offense and sue his person. He's enjoying immunity from me. But he's not enjoying immunity from my representative. And I agree that that is the right thing to do. I voted for my representative to hold Tinubu accountable. And is my representative doing it? No. So what I am saying is that we should be very careful about the people we elect into the legislature. Look at what's happening in the houses of assembly.
Mm-hmm.
In Nigeria, I saw houses of assembly voting against itself, that they want to remain financial slaves to the governors. In my eyes, that day, I opened my mouth and said, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I was shouting, I can't believe it throughout the whole day. And why are they in the pocket of the governors? Corruption. Nothing else. Aisha, have you ever sat down to think, how can 469 people be defeated by only one man? It is not by accident that the legislature, there are 469, and the executive is only one person. So even if it is physical fight, is there any way he stands a chance? So you can see what corruption does.
Yeah, so that's where the Ghana must go. This thing comes into it. The person that has the money is actually the one that is now controlling everything. But
ironically,
yeah.
the executive does not have the money.
Oh yeah, which
the
is also
executive shares the money according to the will of the legislature. I have told you that the reason is because when the executive is sharing the money, executive will leave them to eat as they want. So they will not close their eyes in turn to the executive eating as he wants. That's what is going on. The executive is simply sitting down to do the will of the legislature. That's democracy. But once there is corruption, they will be doing the will of the executive.
Like they always say, they say that if you're not Nigerian and someone explains Nigeria to you and you understood what they explained to you, that means they didn't explain very well. And so most like that's what happens. Like when you talk about the fact that where the state houses of assembly were actually voting against themselves to have financial autonomy, it's something that just beats the mind. But at the same time, also, I will say, is it not also hypocritical or false, right? When we sit down and say these things, but we somehow don't really push and put ourselves to run for office. So like when we say, oh, the people voted to the National Assembly, it's not part of what they have that we vote. Because most of us, we're running away from politics. Most of us don't want to, run for office. And I do understand the fact that people don't want to use their own money. And then the people also don't want to donate to people's campaign. They want people that will use their own money to come out. So at the end of the day, we're just sitting down here, actually not doing the work. But these people who are destroying the country, we must give it to them that they're actually doing a whole lot of work that we have refused to do.
Well, Aisha, you have just indicted yourself.
Yeah.
Because you refuse to even be a member of a political party.
I'm talking to myself too. That's why I say we. Me, I'm a copy. I know that.
Good. At least I am a member of a political party.
Yes.
And you now know why I said no. I also thought about that because I am not crazily interested in power. Now, but I said, how then can you change the system if you are not a member of a political party?
Yeah.
And I said, even when you're campaigning, in the election day, you will not even see the name or the picture of your candidate. It might just be that of the political party. That was why in 2023, even when I was reluctant being a member of a political party, I saw the futility in fighting without having a political party.
Yeah.
And then I encouraged every other person. You can see that I told you that part of the reason I disagreed with some of my leaders is if you have your own support group and the law says you can only do politics under a political party, why don't you bring all your support and consolidate the political party? I mean, if they are your followers, for instance, when you are leaving to another party, you take your followers. unless they are not genuine followers of yours. But as long as you are in a party, you have to bring all your resources to consolidate that party. Because no matter how powerful that organization is, it cannot function as a political party unless it is registered as a political party. So I agree with you. And the first person I'm going to plead with is an Aisha to join a political party. and present. You can imagine
And
if we have 10
I will tell
Aisha.
you,
You can imagine if we
Daniel.
have 10 Aisha in the National Assembly. You can imagine.
Daniel. So Daniel Inandi totally agrees with you. And he said that, Aisha, you just indicted yourself. I know. And I will tell you, see, for me, I take full responsibility for that. And I feel sometimes I sit myself down. I say, look, it's so hypocritical. You're talking about changing the people who are in office, destroying the country, but you don't want to be in a political party. You don't want to run for office. You don't want to do. Who are these people that are going to come on from everywhere and get it and get these things changed? And for me, I speak from a very selfish point of view. And I accept that. I don't even need anybody to tell me how selfish it is. I'm somebody who I love my freedom. I love my mouth. I love to travel the way I want to travel. Sometimes I'll leave the country, spend 2 months outside, come back, do what I want to do. But you are in an office, you can't do that. I love the word where I can use my mouth and say anything. There are certain things I will say in my capacity as an individual that as a public office holder, I will not be able to say it. And let me give you an example. For example, up to today, when they're playing the national anthem, I don't stand up. Worst case scenario, I walk out of the room. I'm not going to participate in that. But if I'm a public office holder, whether I'm an elected, I'm representing people, I can't do that. So I know from that point. But like you rightly said, we need to get to a place where people become involved in political parties. And if we want that change, every one of us Nigerians, we need to be in those political parties. But again, the political parties that you think they will do the thing, they will stain your white. And most people are running away from their whites being stained. And for me, I'm like, it should be an ideology. I don't want to enter a political party, then tomorrow I'm moving to another one, because how does one negotiate all of this?
All right. Now, you can look at the cup as half full or half empty. You can look at your situation as if I get into politics, they can stain my white, or I can wash their dirty cloth. You see, those people are able to win because you are not in politics. I am not saying everybody should be in power, but I'm advising everybody should be in politics, because democracy is the government of the people. So everybody should be in politics. If you're a member of a political party, that does not mean you will struggle for power. That does not mean you will. But what it means is that you have the right now, as the member of a political party, to decide what goes on in the political party. As you are like that in Aisha, you knew what you did in 2023. Yet some group of people, they had the guts to say, Aisha did this about the party. And you cannot even have the right to say you want to vote them out because you're not a member of that party. So what I am preaching is we must all determine to be in politics. That does not mean that all of us will be in power at the same time. But what it means is that, do you know, Aisha, that elections are settled 50% of the time in Nigeria in the primaries?
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Very good. So if you're not a member of a political party, you're waiting to vote in the general election. So what if all the parties now bring out for you very corrupt people? That year is gone for you. And you will face another 4 years of incompetent and corrupt leaders. So my advice is that if we are serious, we must come together, pull all our resources together. The good people have not gotten it right. And that is why the bad people are prevailing. In 1999, the good people are like, no, I don't want to get into politics. This democracy will not even last. Military will soon take over in the next 2 years, 3 years. Then the criminals that have nothing to lose, because, I mean, they are criminals. If they strike once, if military like to come, let them come. They've taken that one and gone away. So you now saw the army of criminals coming in 1999, and they've been able to sustain that criminality till today. So what I'm saying is that we can change that narrative. There is hope for the future. I believe there is one, you cannot kill the hope in me, no matter the renewed hopelessness. If it is the hope I have that Tinubu has, Nigeria will not be like this. So the hopelessness they are giving me will never destroy the genuine hope in me. Because anybody that calls himself a man or woman of faith knows that you will always believe. You know, in the Bible, they say Abraham, hoping against hope, still hoped. And eventually he gave birth to Isaac, even with the deadness of the womb of the wife, Sarah. So what I'm saying is that, yes, God is still alive. God can still do something. But we have to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling. So when we do the right thing, and I still believe we must have to find a way to withstand these evil people, to resist them. You know, let me put it this way. Aisha, in law, if somebody calls somebody Ashawo, the person can go to court and say he has defamed her. And we'll go through the process of court to the Supreme Court that might take 15 years, 20 years. And we'll spend millions. But the court recognizes that when somebody calls you Ashawo, if you're a man, no, if you're a woman, and a man calls you Ashawo, the court recognizes that you can turn back and call him community prick. And when you go to court, they will say, please, you people did not invite us when you talk to each other. Go home, you have settled yourself. Now, you will now decide which one will be more deterring for the person. Is it to wait for the court that even eventually that he called you Ashawo may still go to court and win you? Because our history have shown that anything can happen in court. He may come from wealthy home, or that he calls you Ashawo and you give him your own. Pia, 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 pia. That's what I'm saying. When the evil ones give us their own, we should give them their own. I have never advocated for breaking rule of law. I challenge anybody to give me any tape. But I have always advocated for resistance and protest, because that's the only language the evil ones understand. When you are living at the mercy of your enemy, you're simply making your enemy merciless. If he were a good person, he wouldn't be doing those evil. So why think you can placate the evil man with good? If he knew the good, he wouldn't be evil. Now, if a thief comes to your house, you don't wait for the IG of police to send the policemen to come to your house. If you have a way to deal with the thief first, because he will take all the things you have and might even kill you and get away before it reaches even IG, or before the IG even sends the men to you. So the law gives you the right to defend yourself, for instance, and protect yourself. So while defending yourself, are you breaking the law? No. You are actually helping to enforce the law. I am saying that the citizens have the right by law to help the security agencies to enforce the law. If anybody is carrying ballot box in front of you, you have the right to break his head. I'm telling you, by law. The law says you should use reasonable force to stop anybody from committing crime. So nobody should mistake when I'm saying we should enforce the law with saying I'm supporting to break the law. No. If we do not enforce the law, what if the security agencies are complicit with the evil ones? So we as a people must rise up to enforce the law by resisting the evil ones and overcoming them. That's what I believe. And if you ask me, where did I learn some of these things from? Shehu Sani said, Tinubu is the father of protest. And I am saying that Aisha is the mother of protest. So if you say, where did I learn it from? I say from Tinubu and from Aisha.
As in gbas, don't wait for anyone to be doing Mr. Nice person or gentleman. They know they do gentleman for motor park. Oh. They break
no,
bottle.
I agree with
Break
you.
too.
I agree with you. Somebody annoyed me one day, and when I did my own, somebody came to me and said, that person, he thought you are a gentleman. I say I'm a gentleman, but the guy thought I'm a quiet man. I said I'm not a quiet man, but I'm a gentleman.
And
So
especially, I always say to people, every one of us get bed for psychiatric hospital. Now, who are occupy? Oh, we they send and go there. So some people think they have monopoly to behave anyhow, and they'll just come in and rush things in a way.
how
I do.
can you?
Yeah,
Okay, now,
go ahead.
Aisha, how can a man tell you even beforehand that power is not served a la carte? You fight for it, you grab it at all costs, you snatch it, and you run away with it. And then you're waiting for him to do that so that you go to court. No. My advice is that we should prepare ourselves to ensure that he does not grab it, he does not snatch it, he does not run away with it. If a man who, for instance, did not win election will be so bold to go and steal it, then people who won election should be bolder to defend that victory. That's my own belief.
Absolutely, as in match craze for craze. I did a video earlier today, which is going to go out, I think, around 9 or something like that. One of the things I said in that video was the fact that INEC is not the problem. The people in INEC are the problem. Police in its name institution is not the problem. The people in it are the problem. Judiciary is also not the problem. The people in it. So if those people are running mad, we also must run mad with them to ensure that whatever nonsense they are planning on doing, they don't get up to do it. Most of the people that are used, if people are being used to perpetuate violence, we must also stand and use people to stop the violence and ensure that people are safe to be able to vote, the way that they would like to vote. In the meantime, we are being joined in by people who are joining us on Zoom. Some of them would have questions. Please, let's keep it simple as we go on. If you sent an email requesting for the Zoom link, it has been sent to you. Please kindly go ahead and check your email. We have Isaac Olorunisola. Whether it's Shola or Sola, please, I'm sorry if I didn't get that well. Isaac Olorunisola. I hope I got that. But when you come in, you will give it to us. But to say something, there was something that you mentioned earlier, and I don't want us to forget to move away quickly from that, which is on the issue of political party and the fact that every one of us we must do politics. Staying away and say politics is dirty. They are dirty in our lives, our everything, even our generation unborn. Our descendants are being dirtied before its hand. We can be in political, and as I'm speaking, I'm also speaking to myself. I'm one of those culprits who has refused to actually do the needful and be part of this thing. We can join political parties, and like you said, I've been noting a lot of things that you've been saying, putting that we can't all we must be in politics, not necessarily that all of us can be in power. You can be there to be a delegate. Ensure that when it comes to the time where they are voting people that are going to represent a party, that your vote is there, that you are not bought by anyone. What we've done over time is that we've allowed people who don't have second jobs to be the ones to be in political parties. So for them, every 4 years, that's their only source of livelihood. When you try to take it away, they will fight you. You now, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo, you have so many things out there you're doing. Politics is the one you're doing because, okay, this is a responsibility I need to take on. It's not your source of livelihood. So anybody do anyhow, you can easily say, I beg, I'm leaving, I'm going another. But they can't because that's where they fit for. So we must ensure people with second jobs get into party, be a delegate, be, even if it's to watch out for the finances and ensure that accountability and transparency is kept, that nobody on your watch has to treat party money as personal money and all of that. These are also some of the things that we can also do. In the meantime, before I bring on Isaac, I would just like to say to you, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo, what about electoral reform? Where do we go on that one?
You see, that's why I always talk about the legislature. In all honesty, we had enough laws that would have given us free and fair election. But the judiciary has destroyed those laws. I don't know where the judiciary got the law, where they say INEC has a discretion whether to transmit result electronically or not. This was an invention that INEC brought into existence, the IREV. And then the first thing politicians said is that it's not part of the law. INEC fought to make it part of the law. And the court again now went and said, no, INEC is not compelled to do what INEC itself fought to become law. INEC wrote its own guidelines and regulations, which are part of our law, making it compulsory, using the word shall. The law making it compulsory cannot even collate with only manually collated results. You must compare those things with electronically transmitted results from the polling unit before you can declare results. Yet Mahmoud was declaring results without any electronically collated result. Mahmoud that boasted that on the day I will be talking, you will see TV on top of my head. Every result I'll be reading, you'll be seeing it on TV for you to see that it was transparent. Mahmoud, where is the TV? Where is the electronically transmitted result? Till today, polling unit by polling unit result was not available. All of us watched the American election. As it was coming in, one by one, the whole world was seeing it. With how tense the election was, nobody died. No one single human being was injured. Within 24 hours, the winner has emerged. And the whole world believed, as flawed as this winner is, the incumbent could not use the system to overrule the decision of the people. That's democracy. If the people chooses that an adulterer who is a convicted felon will govern them, so be it. If the law allows it, that is rule of law. That is democracy. But in Nigeria, till date, the election results, polling unit by polling unit, has not been tendered by INEC in any court. Yet court will tell you that it is the duty of the petitioner, that it is the duty of the petitioner to come to court to prove that he won the election in 176,000 polling units, which result INEC has even refused to give him to tender in court. So it is really a shame. And there is no way we can do free and fair election with such position adopted by the courts. So now the duty is for the legislature to now put guardrails to those laws that they have made to ensure that the judiciary does not give it a wrong interpretation. All those places the judiciary have used their own methods to rule what they don't know. The legislature should now use those things to amend the Electoral Act to now make those things bulletproof. Because we are now in a situation where we can no longer guarantee the interpretative ability of the court. You know, the difference between law and rule of law is that law is the noun, is simply the body of rules. The rule of law is the efficient implementation and enforcement of those rules. So judgment can pass the test of legality, but until it passes the test of legitimacy, it cannot be rule of law. So whenever judges are giving judgment not based on law, they may just create law, but they will never create rule of law. Rule of law emerges from the impersonal, rational authority of the judges, not by descending into the arena of conflict and being personally involved, favoring one side and giving irrational reasons. Because by the school of legal realism, the prophecy of what the courts will do becomes law. Good, but it will never be rule of law, because rule of law means the efficient and effective implementation and enforcement of the law as it is. So we are simply, the court is simply passing judgment that is passing the test of legality. But until they pass justice, they will never pass the test of legitimacy. And it is the test of legitimacy that guarantees
The rule
the
of law.
participation, yes, guarantees the rule of law, which ensures the popular participation of the people.
Oh my goodness. So today it's a lot of not just only learning, but a lot of quotable quotes. I've been writing my pages full. Let me not hog the mic all to myself. Isaac, please kindly go ahead and unmute yourself and let's have your comment or your questions to our guest today. Okay, Isaac, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes, right now I think you're trying to
Yeah,
hold
I
him
have.
to
So it's
yourself.
the video that I don't know what's
It's okay.
happening. I wanted you to put on your
Good
video.
morning. Good morning here, and good afternoon, good evening everywhere in the world. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You are welcome, Barrister Okonkwo and Madam Aisha. Nigeria is a pity party. I'm sorry to say. I was born in Nigeria. I think I came to US like 16 years ago. Uh, the first time I came here, I was like, okay, here I am. What am I doing here? What is now happening here that we don't have in Nigeria that can make us better off? Remember, this time, I mean, no sweet saying, I'm 50 years old. And I was like 30 something when I came. I did the calculation and I said, okay, what part? Oh, it's okay. What can we do to make the difference? I felt like coming to Nigeria, brought a plane, take many people as much as possible, land them in America, and go back second day, just for one day. Maybe the orientation, the exposure, and the environment will make them see the differences. The pity part is this. 90% of these so-called rulers, because we don't have leaders, visit here over and over. I'm a typical Nigerian. I come home like every 3 I participated in the last election. I came home to vote, and I voted in the last election here. I don't have to say who I voted for, but my choices really prevailed for many reasons. However, Barrister Okonkwo has really mentioned a lot of stuff. But my contribution is going to be, I do appreciate Madam Aisha for our relentless contribution to see that things are really working well. Well, we can't leave everything on our own. We need to join hand with her, join hand with those people that really wishes Nigerian good. Oh, of course. I have a business in Nigeria and I cry foul every time. That's how would these people survive? If I look at my own side, I'm not boasting. I can feed myself, feed my family. But what about other people? If we cannot think in macro settings, I don't know where we're going. My question is this: what can we do to sensitize people in this coming election? We've gotten it wrong this time around. I'm not going to lie to you. And people are feeling it. You don't have to tell them. They are feeling it. Then maybe when I talk to my friends, I said, maybe they will learn. But I'm not too sure. But what can we do? Because in my little community where I come from back home, I mean, I don't know why they listen sometimes when I say, oh, let's do it this way. Stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Why can't we try other people? The way we bring these people in, let's try them. If they fail, we can always use the same system to kick them out. What my friend used to tell me, he said, when normality have become abnormal in a situation, in an insane situation, what do we do to correct the situation? This is the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria.
Okay.
Please, what should we be doing to sensitize people that this is eating hard on everyone? No, we don't need to tell them. But if you see what is going on in the recent election, that is maybe recently, I'm not really campaign. I'm non-partisan to anything. But one thing that I know is a truth is truth, even if only one person is saying it. And what is bad is bad, even if 99% people are doing it. Please help me out. I'm lost on the country called Nigeria. Thank you. You can see I'm at work.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr.
I'm in
Isaac,
hospital, so thank you so much.
for joining in. Thank you. I will come to our guest, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo. You hear the question, what can we do to sensitize people in this coming election?
You know, thank goodness that everybody is feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, at a certain point, because I was trained as an administrator and I'm an expert in it. One day they called us in class and they told us, do you know why we are training you in management? Then they told us, if everything functions peacefully and goes as it's planned, nobody will come and hire you.
Yeah.
Because in that instance, even a fool can manage. But you are being trained to be able to manage crisis. That is why when crisis is coming to a person or an organization, I can sense it from 1,000 kilometers. And I will start shouting. A lot of people may not know what I'm saying. But because I am trained, I will see all the indices, behaviorally, structurally. And I will know, and I will make a forecast. And most times I'm correct. When I start shouting, a lot of people say, oh, he's campaigning for violence. Oh, he's not patient. Oh, at the end of the day, that thing I'm shouting against will catch up with the system. So what we need to do as a human being, I am not fixated in my life because democracy is not about the people owing any loyalty to the president or any politician or any political party. It is about the people owing loyalty to the Constitution. The greatest thing that will happen to us is to be fixated about any politician or any political party. We must, first of all, liberate ourselves and open our minds and be futuristic in whatever we're doing. We do not have that privilege of time to say we want to continue doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Like what Isaac said that would be stupidity. As a matter of fact, he just was trying to be lenient because that ought to be insanity. So what I am saying is that we must learn. Do you know what I'm looking for? In all honesty, I am now looking for people who are knowledgeable, who have character, but who don't have experience as politicians in Nigeria, as in who have not governed in any political capacity. That's what I'm looking for. Knowledge, character, but not experience, as in you have already been in the system. You know why? They have perfected in the idea of cunning, craftiness, incompetence, and corruption. I am telling you, go to Ukraine. There was no history that Zelensky was ever in that politics. Today, he's fighting a superpower and yet supplying food to poor countries in Africa. What a leader. Fighting a superpower and still producing enough grains that he was supporting food to Africa, including Nigeria. But he was never a governor. He was an actor, a comedian for that matter. So what I'm looking for now.
Should we vote you now? Should we carry you and put you? Should we vote you? Because you are not talking for an actor like you others that have been there should come. And so should we carry you and put you? Are you going to do the work or you will get there and then you become like the other ones or even worse?
Aisha, Anybody who wants me to go there would have to convince me that if they vote for me, when I am in the forefront, because I will be in the forefront, they will all follow me and we will fight for the mandate. If you think you are voting for me and you're not ready to follow me to fight for the mandate, don't waste your time. These people are criminals. I want us to fight. Is it not a shame to 200 million persons that one person, 469 persons, check all the members of the House of Assembly and all the government, all the politicians, they might not be up to 5,000. And then 200 million persons cannot contain them. It's a shame on us. So I am not that kind of person that is so crazy for power. When people want me to lead them, I am the one who will give them condition. And the condition is, I will be in the forefront for any fight, but all of us must come out to fight it. I can't fight it alone. If you saw what I kept saying that the leader must be in the forefront. Because if you're not in the forefront, the people that you're fighting against will easily say that we want to cry more than the bereaved, and that the person is not supporting what we are doing. And that collapses whatever you're doing. So you cannot fight on behalf of a leader if he himself is not fighting, because he can throw you under the bus. When you go to fight, casualties come. Now, if the leader has not identified openly with the fight, when the first casualty comes, he says, did I not tell you? I told you that's why I don't want to choose this method. My dear, there is no war you will go to that you will not find casualties. So a leader should be in front. If you don't believe it, some of my people in the Southeast, they ignorantly want to give the excuse of MK Abiola. And that was how MK Abiola fought. But they ignorantly did not notice that what MK Abiola fought and died for was what made the whole Nigeria to say that the presidency must come from the Southwest in 1999. So if you're not willing to fight, you're coward enough to be giving excuse about a man who fought for his own people, and the people are getting the benefit now because of the sacrifice he made. If you're not willing to make that sacrifice, step aside. Forever I will maintain it, because every job has its own risk. Aisha, any day you go to protest, you know that day may be your last, but you still go out all the same, because even if somebody does not point a bullet at you, a stray bullet pointed could catch you up. So every job has its own risk. And if you are not willing to take that risk, then step aside. Your people, you're killing your people. If they give you mandate and you don't fight for it, you are making them to be disrespected. MK Abiola was given a mandate. He fought for it. Yes, he died. But his people, can you imagine? This is the second time a Yoruba man is becoming president. The root of it is in the sacrifice of MKO. So that is where sacrifice comes in.
Okay.
Anybody who wants me to be a leader, the only thing I'll tell you is I will be in the forefront, but all of us must be fighting. If it affects me, let the next person continue, because we must continue until we get the results.
Okay, so let me, I get where you're saying, but there's also the thing where you say anybody that wants you to be a leader must be ready to be behind you, but you have to put yourself as a leader first. So otherwise you are also waiting.
Why
You
not?
have to put yourself as a leader first, and then they come, but you're waiting for them to
I
put you
will be
in
in the forefront. I will be in the forefront. I told you the first thing I said is I will be in the forefront. When
yeah,
we
but
were
we're saying, but put yourself there now so that we cannot follow you, and then we say we'll be there. But you're waiting for us to put you there so that we follow you. Why are you waiting?
My sister, no. You see, that is one thing about democracy. That is, you sit down. You see, democracy functions on acceptance authority, not a formal authority. That is why I said, first and foremost, I will never fight for a mandate people have not given me. If I go into any election and I lose, I will concede. That is democracy. So I can only fight for a mandate that people have given me.
But you must put yourself first to receive the mandate. But you are
I
waiting for us.
agree.
So we are looking
Good.
forward. We are looking forward to that. But let me
Aisha,
just, okay.
Aisha, I am in your studio now. If you, Aisha, say Kenneth Okonkwo, go, I will support you. From tomorrow, you start seeing another thing.
Yes, we will support you. I will support you. Go. Well, so because we need people in there. For me, like I always talk about it,
I agree with you.
I want people to be.
I agree with you
I'll
100%.
be, if I, for example, if you are there and I can go and sleep, I know that okay, he will do the right thing. He want to do the right thing. He wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
But just coming to
Aisha, sorry, before you continue.
Mhm.
If I am there, don't go and sleep. Kenneth
Yeah,
Okonkwo,
what's happening? I hope you saw
you
me.
must. Okay.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now.
good? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. No human being, including Kenneth Okonkwo, should be trusted with unlimited powers. If I am there, I need you more. That's when I need you more to come and be pulling my ear. You see, when a leader is in power, you will be hearing more than 1,000 people talking to him. That is when the good people don't pretend I don't know everything. That is when I need you most. The only thing
Absolutely.
you hold me accountable is if you, hello, can you hear me? The only thing you should hold me accountable to is if you have given me an advice and it turned out to be a good advice and I didn't follow it. But when you don't give me advice at all, you cannot hold me responsible if I follow another advice because I don't know everything. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Oh my goodness. Hello, can you?
All right. Hello.
Okay. Yes, I'm back, right? It's just
Okay.
crazy.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. I'm so sorry. I just went off on my device, my laptop that I was using. So I'm joining with my phone now. Thank you
Okay.
for staying on. And I'm so happy that you're able to keep the something going. So my network, I don't know what's happening. Yes, you were saying something which is absolutely correct, where you said you were talking about you being held accountable when you get into office. And I think that's where a lot of people who get in office miss it. They would rather listen to people who are praising them or saying or psychopaths rather than listen to people who are criticizing. If you really want your administration to work very well, your leadership to work, is actually listen to the critics and fix what they're talking about. You will be the one to take glory. And I think it was President Jefferson that said the price for democracy is eternal vigilance. There was something that I think Isaac had talked about when he talked about taking Nigeria, Nigerians, just taking them to another country, even if it's for 24 hours, bring them back so that they understand what it is, the barest minimum they should be asking for, rather than always justifying whatever kind of hardship that is given to them. And I believe every Nigerian, the first time that you go out of Nigeria, that's one of the things that you really come across, and you just have that feeling of, oh my goodness, if only Nigeria will do better than it is doing now. But he did ask, what are the things that we can do? And I think for me, and I think I'll still get back to you on that particular question to really say, how do we make the people understand what is going on? We are also at fault. Most of us play God and play government in people's lives. And so because we play God and play government, they don't see any reason why they should vote right, why they should hold anybody accountable. Because at the end of the day, their school fees, their children's school fees will be paid by you. How do we get people to understand relationship between governance and their lives and then get in? But most importantly also, what do we do with religion? Because they are weaponizing religion the same way they've weaponized poverty and also weaponized illiteracy. How do we deal with, I'm not saying people should be religious. I mean, it's a personal thing, but we have religious rulers who are now using bad governance to be able to sell cheap miracle and continue to hold people, down and accountable. I'll give you an example. You come to for Muslims, these religious rulers will tell you that, oh, protest is haram. Don't go out and protest and stuff like that when it suits them. At other times, they are silent. Then you go to when it comes to Christianity, they are telling you, look for your own miracle. Whatever government will favor you, be thinking that national prayers and all of that. How do we tackle all of these things?
Now, you see, I once said that I am convinced now that religion and ethnicity is no longer our problem.
Mm.
And the reason I said this is that we have voted people based on religion. They failed. We have voted people based on ethnicity. They failed. And that's the beauty of democracy. It gives you the chance and the choice to test all these things and then to see whether they are actually to your benefit or not. Now, the people are looking for capable people, competent people, and they are looking for people of character. But let me say this. I do not belong to the category of people who said they want to turn night vigil to night shift. No. What we are suffering in Nigeria is not too much church or too much mosque. As a matter of fact, I wish that the church and the mosque should be in every house in Nigeria. What we are suffering from is too much fake church, too much fake pastors, too much fake imams, too much fake mosques. If we had genuine churches and mosques, we will not be having the problem we have in Nigeria. I'll give you an example. In the olden days, the most efficient president known in the ancient world was a prophet of God. His name is Prophet Daniel. Prophet Daniel was employed because he had the knowledge, the skill in arts, in science. And in addition, he was a man of God who had understanding of visions and dreams. Prophet Daniel prayed not less than 3 times a day. Yet it did not stop him from being efficient in his work. Let me tell you something about being close to God. Prayer. And if you're genuine in the worship of God and prayer and closeness to God helps you to be more efficient in your work. Because you will be morally sound and do everything in the fear of God. Before I became very close to God, I was a night crooner. And one of the most popular nightclubs in Lagos was called Night Shift. So I had to turn my own night shift to night vigil to begin to acquire the level of wisdom and understanding that is helping me now to be efficient and effective in the work I do. Daniel served 4 kings and all of them put him as president. Meanwhile, he was a slave boy captured from Judea and taken to Babylon. And they said because of his commitment to efficiency, honesty, and skill of doing his work, that he was 10 times more knowledgeable than all the men in the kingdom of Nebuchadnezzar. And that was why he lifted him up. Now, look at this. Do you know that people became jealous of him, the indigents, and they conspired against him? And they say, we can't find corruption in this man. We can't find anything to hold against him. The only thing we can hold against him is against his God and his religion. And they said, we know that he prays every time. If we can make it illegal, that prayer will become illegal. We will catch him. And they deceived the king. And the king made a law, you cannot pray for 1 month. And Daniel went ahead and continued praying and continued doing night vigil. And they went and arrested him and put him in the lion's den. Do you know the king did not know that they were targeting Daniel? Do you know when they put Daniel in the lion's den, the king himself observed night vigil for Daniel, and the mouth of the lions were shut. And the next day in the morning, they went and Daniel said God sent his angels to close the mouth of the lions. And they brought him out. And those people that said they should put him in the lion's den, they put those ones in the lion's den, and the lion ate all of them up. There is a place for prayer. It does not stop you from being efficient in your work. It helps you to be efficient. But let me point out, I always point out criminality, immorality, and illegality anywhere it is found, whether in the church or in the mosque.
Hello, I hope it's not my network.
That is our problem. Our problem is hypocrisy, is psychopathy, is corruption, is illegality, it's criminality, and it's incompetence. So please, we should encourage more prayers, because if we have genuine men of God, genuine Christians, genuine Muslims, our problem will be solved.
Okay.
Not less of it.
Oh, okay. So let me quickly address that issue of night vigil and night shift, because for my own understanding of it, I am an employer of labor, And I've come across a lot of people who will leave the office and tell you they are going for one thing or the other. Or some of them, even during interviews, they will tell you, oh, on Wednesdays, we don't come for work. On these days, we don't do this or one thing. The issue of Daniel that you did mention, Daniel did not allow his prayers to affect his job. That's the big difference. A lot of people go on these things and they allow it to affect their jobs. Like I remember tweeting that I said, look, if you are working for me as an employee, you are going to pray. Okay, there was someone who said that, oh, Muslims pray 5 times a day. And I say, you're working for me and you're praying 5 times a day. God knows God is going to be the one to pay your salary. Definitely not me, because you won't be working for me again. So that's where the difference is. It's not, yes, people need to pray more. Leaders that will pray more help. But when you are allowing your prayers have left your private business and it's not affecting the business of others, it is no longer what we will take as in, oh, this is what people will do. The same thing also when it comes to these churches. You did mention it's we have a lot of fake imams and fake pastors. I totally agree with you on that one. But because of the fact that there is incentive for that fakeness, and that's why you have a lot of these mosques and a lot of these churches all over the place. Everybody wants to get money. I mean, the easiest way to get people's 10% is by opening a church. And you have something there. The easiest way that you have people will come and be meeting you to give you sadaqah, give you all sorts of money is by becoming a malam, having your turban and stuff like that. So that's where the difference is. So if you keep your prayers, your everything private, then it doesn't have to affect the national issue that we have. And that was what Daniel was able to do, in spite of the fact that he was someone who was very religious, but at the same time, he was someone also who was able to make his religion his private issues while he was managing the public interest that he was managing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
I see you raised it, and I'll bring it.
Let me first of all say that I agree with you completely in what you say. And if anybody who is working for you and during working hours, he tells you he wants to pray, please sack that person immediately. Anybody who is supposed to be reading his books and he's telling us that he was reading his Bible or Quran, he will go to the school and fail woefully. So I want you to understand the difference. The difference is that the Bible says they that should worship God should worship him in truth and in spirit. Anybody who is telling you he wants to pray when he's supposed to work is a hypocrite. He's not a prayer warrior. Because prayer is meant to help you to be more efficient in your workplace, not to become a truant. That person that is telling you that his prayer does not cross ceiling, because you will not use the time you're paid for, where you're getting your source of livelihood, to say you're praying. No. Aisha, please, this thing I'm going to say, I don't know whether it is true or not. I want to talk about Islam, so you will correct me on that. But I know that some of my friends in Islam have told me that the prophet recognized that at times it might be impossible for you to pray. And then you will shift it. And when it is possible for you to pray, you will now pray for those ones you did not pray before. I don't know whether it is true or not. But I know, because I read theology and I have discussed with my friends. So I will tell you this story. When Jesus Christ was alive, people went to him and they want to implicate him. And they asked him, shall we pay taxes to Caesar? And Jesus Christ said, where is the coin that you used to pay the tax? And they gave him the coin. And he said, whose inscription is this? And they said, Caesar. Then he said, render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar, and unto God the things that are God's. A religious leader is telling you by implication, you must pay your tax to government. You must do your duty to government, but you must do your duty to God. So what I'm telling you is that a leader coming out to diminish the importance of prayer, or saying you're going to convert church to anything, that is wrong. Let me give you an example again. In the ancient world, a king thought he became so powerful, and he converted the vessels that are used for the house of God, and he converted them to be used for nightclub, for night shift. And when he was using it with his family, enjoying himself, a handwriting appeared on the wall. Mene mene tekel ofasen. And they called Daniel to interpret it. He said, the king, you have disrespected God for converting the vessels of God to be used by man. And because you have done that, your kingdom has been numbered and is finished. And that day, they killed that king, and another king took over. We must learn to revere God and revere divine things. Aisha, with all your oververkeve, you don't allow men to even touch you or shake you because of your faith. Nobody should come and say that, no. You're a fanatic. You should convert that to that unless you became convinced. I do not in any way. Everybody must revere God, revere church, revere any place of worship. And you don't have to come out to use your mouth to say you will convert this to this. No. Question immorality, question criminality. Tell people, do the right thing at the right time. Okay, assuming somebody now comes to tell you that he will convert nightclub to be a church, would you say it is right? Then why would you say you will convert a church to be a nightclub? Because your argument is that it's stopping people from working. No, it's not stopping people from working. And thank God they even use the word night vigil. Let me ask, do you work? Do you work in the night? Do you allow your workers?
Let me come in because we are not mentioning him, so I'm not going to mention any name. But I'm sure I also heard someone who said he was going to convert night vigil to night shift, and this is my understanding of it. First of all, an example in terms of when you see people, there are people who are in those in certain places where they're praying, where they look what they are asking for are things that good governors ought to give to them. So in that, this thing is to say, if your intention half of the time that you see people going there and doing everything is, oh, I want this, I want that, I want this, which is a transactional relationship with God. If it can be replaced with an unconditional relationship with God, where those things that you are busy begging God for are things that your government can do for you. There's always a context to anything. It's not I don't think the statement from the one that I heard, nobody ever said they were going to change churches should stop or should not do what they're doing. But to say that need that you have to constantly be in the church or the mosque praying on certain things, you will not need to pray for them. We've seen situations whereby people stay, transformer has spoiled, and what they're busy doing is that they're busy praying for it to work. No, you don't need to pray for that. So those night shifts that you feel you have to go to because you're looking for a visa to go to certain countries, meanwhile, there are other countries where you don't even need to have, you don't need visa to go to those places because their economy is already working. So I don't think it's about changing the churches or converting them. But to say when you're going there, it's no longer about transactional relationship with God, where, oh God, I pray, give me this, give me that, and get that. There are some of our mates that are praying for that inner peace, having closer relationship with God. And if they are not praying for 24/7 electricity, they are not traveling and praying that they will not be kidnapped. They are not doing all of this. So if you remove that burden that we need to feel that we have to constantly be in those places praying, that's why for us it's more like showmanship rather than, the actual work, like you've rightly put it earlier on. But you will still come, and if you want to add to it, you will add to it. But there are quite a number of people, and I don't want to keep you too long so that we don't get to a place asking you to come and say we overstayed. I will call on Nkiruka.
Like I said, I told you that there are a lot of fake men of God. You have the right to point out, but you don't have any right whatsoever to say anything to diminish the reverence to God and to divine things. You don't have the right to come out and say you will convert. You will convert. If anybody wants to be praying all his life. It's nobody's business.
Yes,
Provided,
this is the thing. So this is what I is that you have a right to pray, but if they can remove your body, some of the things that you pray for, you don't need to pray for them. You can pray for others. That's it. That's what the whole thing.
Aisha,
But therefore, continue this conversation. Yes, therefore,
no. Let me make this last point, my dear.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay.
You made one important point. You said there are certain things the government ought to give us. Thank God you know that those people that are praying are not the government. Let me tell you.
They pray more than us.
Without those prayers, 50% or 75% of Nigerians would have been mad. Most times, those prayers are like trying to get hope where there is none. You know, when the government is not giving you anything, you don't know where to get it. You are now attracted to go to church where they will tell you that don't mind, have hope, God will visit you. It helps at least your mental health. So I agree with you that we should walk. As a matter of fact, I am a workaholic. But you know what? Prayer is my power. Because you can walk all this walk, but you are not progressing. I am not the most hardworking. Do you know in the story of the Daniel I gave to you? They were not the only people that had that skill and that knowledge. But it was favor from God that made them to be chosen. Such favors from God come from those night vigils and those prayers. But hear me again. I am talking about genuine men of God, genuine worship of God. I am not talking about what we have, which is criminality, immorality, illegality in the churches and mosques. I call them out. But I will never say I will convert a church to anything. It's not your business when you are in government.
Going to convert any church to anything. I've not heard that, except nobody said they were going to convert any church to anything. Yeah. It's just but anyway, let me go to this, just to say that most prayers that we have allow people to abdicate their responsibility. And I know in the Bible, it is where they say faith without works is dead. But let me quickly go to
faith without work is dead, being alone. Dead. But so anything you do without faith, anything you do without faith is a sin.
Okay. So Nkiruka, please go ahead and unmute yourself. And let's hear from you. Your hand has been up for quite a while.
Hello?
Yeah, go.
Okay.
I think
Aisha, I'm sorry I won't be able to put on my video.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No.
Okay, so I just want to respond to Isaac's question. The first question you got, which had to do with what we could do to prevent at least to have a better 2027 election. And one of the things that that has been going through my mind is the need for a well-organized and coordinated campaign. But then this campaign should be geared at those persons who are at the grassroots, individuals who may or may not even have access to platforms like Twitter and the rest. Now, why am I talking about this group of individuals? We know that when it comes to making sure that, for instance, what Mr. Barrister Kenneth had been saying, people snatching of ballot boxes and all that, that we need to fight for it. The truth is we need to fight for whatever we are doing because nothing comes cheap and free. Now, which individuals are being used, one, and can also be used to combat this issue of making sure that our elections, our votes now count. And I believe it's these individuals, but then the right messages need to get to them. But then we know that it wouldn't come cheap. It's not just cheap. Nigeria is a large country. We are talking of millions of youths, you know. So, as a way to also go about this, in the course of raising money, I for one, I know what we saw, what we passed through during the last election. We stood there under rain, under sun, just to make sure that we voted and that our votes counted, and at the end of the day, nothing. So I feel, when we have plans, it's no longer about a party. I think having a movement that will have it as part of what they will do will be to reach out to these youths, these men, because we know it's not women that they use to snatch ballot boxes, these men that the politicians use. What the group should be looking at is, how do we use these same individuals to ensure that the ills and all the evils we see during elections are not, are checkmated. So that's just what that's my contribution, and something that the team could be looking out. I know many persons will be willing to they'll contribute money once we have a platform, that we can really get things going and running. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for that contribution, Nkiruka, and also for joining us today. So for those who are listening on YouTube, currently I will be unable to take in more people to send in the link. We'll listen to those that we have here with us right now. The next person, Ifeyinwa, I will call on you to please kindly unmute yourself and then go ahead and ask your question or give us your comment. Ifeyinwa, your hand is up. Can you hear me, please? Please kindly unmute yourself. Okay, I'll move on then to.
Yeah, I'm unmuted.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yes, I'm unmuted. I'm sorry, just like in Kiruka, I'm not going to turn on my video.
So that's
yeah. But my thing is this, because like I'm one of those people, I'm in the United States, yes. But I'm not one of those people who think, oh, we've gotten away from the country can burn. I mean, that's your problem. Nigeria is our country. Now, my thing is this. It's not just about, I mean, my question is, what do we do about the 2027 election? Because everywhere is captured. The judiciary is captured. The legislative is captured. Everything is captured. The people who go out on the street to try to protest, you see what happens to them, including children. So it's my thing. Yeah, people are going to go out en masse. They will vote. And even if we stop or maybe try to convert those people who go to snatch the ballot boxes, and maybe they're not doing that, though it's going to be difficult because the hunger is real in the land. My thing is this, because these people tell you to go to court. I mean, go to court. Do you understand? They have it all in their, they know what they are doing. How does Nigeria liberate itself? Because Nigeria is under bondage right now. Trust me. Nigeria needs to liberate itself, but how? How do we liberate ourselves from this stronghold?
Okay.
Right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ifeyinwa. I think that's a question that's on many people's mind. People are agreeing with you on YouTube that indeed that's the question. How do we liberate ourselves? Because before we go back to our guests, we're taking the rest of us here down Zoom so that we'll hear from everyone. HO, please kindly go ahead and unmute yourself and give us your contribution. And we're fast spent, so if we could just make it brief, and then so that we'll quickly round up today's discussion. Thank you.
All right. Nice to meet you, my lovely sister Aisha.
Sister.
And nice to meet you, my big brother, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo.
Thank you.
I think this is the second time me and you is meeting in space. And I want to say I love your stand as at this point. I love your spirit. And we need to fight. The people we are dealing with, they are monsters. They don't care about us. And before I forget, I want to have your permission to collect your phone number from Aisha because we need to talk. So having said that, the people we are dealing with, they don't care about us. They have signed a contract with the devil to ensure the giant of Africa does not come out from the pit they've dug us into. There are only two tribes in Nigeria, whether you like it or not. And the two tribes, as I define them, is the tribe of the oppressed and the tribe of the oppressors. And as I will always say in this space, my children and I belong to the tribe of the oppressed. And who are my children? My children are any Nigeria from age 60 downward to the unborn child that is lining up to come to Nigeria. And why did I include age 60? Because many people at that age have never been given opportunity in their youthful age to use their God-given talent, intelligence to fulfill destiny. A lot of them are still collecting crap to survive. And as far as I'm concerned, by the understanding God has given to me, my children, they are king, they are queen, they are prince and princess, they are smart and they are intelligent. It is the unable environment that they have been given to them that turned them to what they are doing today. And whatever they are doing, which is wrong, they are doing it to survive.
Mm.
And I do not use that to define them. But what is the way forward, children? Since we know we belong to the tribe of the oppressed, because whether you like it or not, in the 6th political zone, we have the oppressors there. In the north, they are there. In the south, they are there. In the west, they are there. In the south, in the north central, and everywhere they are there. So this is not a matter of Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba, Fulani. No. There are few people that form this category. Then to my children that belong to our tribe of oppressed, in the north, they are there. In the south, they are there. Let me digress a little bit and focus on the north. They tell them that education, Western education is haram. And the people that are initiating that language, they collect money from this wicked monster to preach that to us. They say protest is haram. When they wanted to make that statement, before they make it, they collect money. So how are you not lying to the people after collecting bribe? And you say you are preaching the message of Muhammad. And the people that are saying Western education is haram, they send their children to the West to go and get Western education. And when they come, they are the ones that occupy choice office like CBN, all the big federal office. Their children are there. So Northerner, let them stop lying to you. We will work as a broom. And what is a broom? When I was to come, wait, let me round up with this.
Okay.
When I was to start this journey, I was in my own this thing, I got the inspiration that says, pick up a stick or broom, and I pick it up. And he said, sweep. I said, Lord, I can't sweep with it. He said, bend it, and I broke it. He said, imagine you are picking a bunch of broom, and I pick it. He said, sweep, and I said, everywhere will be clean. He said, bend it. I said, Lord, it won't break. He said, then you and your children walk like a bunch of broom and sweep these wicked people out. They said to us, politics is a dirty game. But no, politics is not a dirty game. It is the politicians that are practicing it that are dirty. Why did they say politics is a dirty game? The Bible says, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, the people suffer. And as long as they define politics to the good people, that politics is a dirty game, they won't want to come into politics because they don't want to stain their garment. But you see, all ye good people of Nigeria, home and abroad, I am calling upon you. It is time you rise up because you have the ability. Come 2027, from councillor to presidency, me, Mama Hecho, is saying my children will take over. They say it is Godfather that put people into power. But this time around, the battle will be between the Godfather and me, Mama H.O., the godmother. Where Mama stand, Papa not this, do nothing. Jagaba, hear me, I hear me well. You don't take over everywhere. But let me tell you, he that is on the throne has heard the cry of my children. He that is on the throne has seen their suffering. He has seen their pain. He's coming down using us and people like Okonkwo and people like Aisha and people like Chowore and people like Obi and others that believe that it is time for Nigeria to rise up from the shackle of poverty and lack and take their rightful seat in this seat of nation. Thank you.
Thank
my
you so
big brother Okonkwo.
Oh, yeah,
I am collecting your permission to collect your phone number from Aisha. We need to talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that passionate submission. And I know you're always thinking about solutions to Nigerians' problems and the things that, you know, we all need to do that. And we're really so grateful for that passion that you always bring on. To just quickly round up, I think we have Alexander hasn't spoken. Onyedika hasn't spoken. Isaac, he has spoken before, but we'll quickly bring him on also. I think he will be the last person to speak today before we go back to our guest today. So Alexander, if you, I thought I couldn't see you anymore. Go ahead and unmute yourself. And also, I'm trying to see if you would like to start your video. Go ahead and start it. If you are okay not starting your video, that's also okay. So Alexander, you have the floor now. And after you, we'll have Prince Onyedika Chinwuba. So Alexander, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Aisha. Thank you very much, Aisha. I want to thank God for this opportunity of talking with you. I want to say that I am one of your fans. I love you and I love your stand, and you challenge me so much. Number two, Barrister Okonkwo, I love you, I appreciate you, I love your stand, and I love your passion. Again, you challenge me so much. I don't know if I can have your both contacts by my email through which I got your link to the Zoom. I would love to talk with you, Aisha, one-on-one. I live in Uromi and Benin in Edo State. And there are things I would like to pass across to you for you to know, because you are not just talking because you are a Nigerian. You are not just passionate because you are a Nigerian. Your passion is coming from a divine place. You may know, you may not know, but I want to share some of these things with you, and then collaborate with you, collaborate with Barrister Okonkwo, collaborate with Peter Obi, collaborate with Showore, collaborate with people who are passionate, because Nigeria will get it right. Nigeria will become the place of righteousness and uprightness on this planet Earth. And everyone, the nations of the earth, will want to come and find out from Nigeria and Nigerians, how did it happen? And I want to see it in my lifetime. Once again, I'm not going to take too much of our time. I want to appreciate you, Aisha. I want to appreciate you, Barrister Okonkwo. I want to appreciate Showore. I want to appreciate Peter B. I want to appreciate all men and women that are passionate for Nigeria. By the grace of God, by the time we talk on email or your contacts phone, you will know me better, one-on-one. I live in Edo State, and I have lived part of my life in Edo State. I know where you come from in Esako, and we'll need to talk one-on-one. So once again, Aisha, we appreciate you. We love you. God bless you.
God bless you for your kind words. I think we'll go on to our final speaker today, who happened to also be our first speaker today, Mr. Isaac. Go ahead before we bring in our guest for today, Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo.
Thank you, Ms. Ajia Yusuf. I really want to thank you. Like you said, I'm one of your passionate followers too, and I've been following you all this while, but I wouldn't know. I'll be readily available for anything that we can do in my own little way to make sure. I want my voice to be heard in my own little way, so that we are not lost totally. We are already on a verge to collapse. I want us, I'm 50 years, so I want to come back home and relax. I've done a little investments that can survive me, even without my social security here and all the lights. But still, I'm still putting in my best. I'll be doctor by next year, but that doesn't mean I can still do what I need to do for my country, Nigeria. I hope we will survive, and I believe we will survive. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Isaac, for those words of hope. Indeed, we will survive. Before I go on to Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo, I've seen a few sentiments here that we hear all the time, which is people say that Nigeria is gone. There's nothing to do about Nigeria. So for me, the thing I love about when people say it's gone is that if we do anything, so we'll still be where we are. So nothing is lost. So let's do where we are. At least we can only go up from where we already are. When you feel that you know you are down and you decide to fight and do something, you can only go up. You can't begin to come down. So hey, do it. And even at the end of the day, you don't succeed, you will still be where you were. So at least let us try. Let us not self-defeat ourselves. Better for others to defeat us than for us to self-defeat ourselves. Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo, you've heard a lot of the sentiments that have been put forth and also some of the questions that have been put forth. I will hand over to you now as you take on some of those questions that were put forth.
Well, first of all, I want to thank the speakers for saying nice things about me. I've always said that I'm not a good man. There is only one that is good, and that's God. But I thank God. Yes, I thank God for for the presumption they are giving to me. I always say that I know I am honest because I don't know how to tell lies. Maybe if I know how to tell lies, don't know the planets that our leaders come from. Because when people tell lies unashamed, you begin to wonder. Today, you will hear they are paying subsidy. Tomorrow, they say they are not paying subsidy. Next tomorrow, they say under recovery. Under recovery is simply to tell you they are paying subsidy and using another language. So, dishonesty, lack of transparency, lack of accountability, corruption, incompetence, these are our problems. So, and like they always say, if the good people do not come together, they should not complain when the bad people are governing them. Because they say that the only thing that is required for evil to prevail is for the good ones to keep quiet. So in a democracy, the majority rules. So if the evil ones are able to convince the majority, they will be ruling. And their leadership will be legitimate. I mean, I've seen all over the world. I've seen how evil people were able to manipulate the people and convince them. And they took over the leadership. So these very evil people, they may be fewer in number, but they are more vocal. They are more united. They are more cohesive. Even Jesus Christ, when he was alive, he said we should learn from them, but we should be as innocent as the dove. He said be as wise as serpent, but be as innocent as the dove. What is he telling us? If these few people are cohesive to rule us, we should be much more, we that are in the majority, should be much more cohesive in order to overcome them. If they are vocal,
this time I don't know. Can others hear me? Is it me? Is it my network?
hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. For a moment, I couldn't hear you. I don't know whether it's my network.
Okay, my network has been very stable. Maybe, like you said, maybe we are living
Can you
further
hear me?
away. I can hear you now. I can hear you. But your picture is freezed, but I can hear your voice. So can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, fantastic. I think it's still my side. I don't know what's happening today. So apologies for that. And I'm so glad that you're able to hold this on. Since you're the co-host, you're the one that has made us to have a smooth this thing today. So thank you so much for that. Go ahead, please.
Well, we bless God. You say you are living closer to the evil people.
Yes,
so people like us that are living further away.
The closer you are to it, the whole thing, you are almost like because you are close to them. It's so crazy what's happening. Thank you so much. At least we'll be able to have the Zoom not totally going off because you're on it. So thank you.
Right. We thank God. So as I was saying that what will save us from the hands of these people is our ability to come together and be united. Because what goes for them is that though they are fewer, but they are more vocal and they are more united. So if we can be more vocal than them and more united than them, we will take over because they are fewer than us and they are more evil than us. So God sides the people that are good over the people that are evil. But the only thing is that, like you pointed out, God will not come down to do for us what he has given us power to do. So when we pray to him, we are not praying for him to excuse us from doing our duty. We should be praying for him to draw strength and power to be able to big hope in this country. Hope in a united Nigeria. I have that hope that given to us will give way one day, one way or the other, for the real hope that comes from God. And I have that belief that when we come together, the earlier we come together, the shorter our suffering is. We must unite north and south, east and west. We must unite Christians and Muslims. We must unite old and young. We are all suffering this together. We should not allow these evil leaders to use their own evil ways to divide us in order to continue manipulating and intimidating us. It is only when we come together that we will win, and we will come together, and by the grace of God, we will win.
Thank you so much for that. And I think indeed, there's no need for asking for closing remarks. I think you just rounded it up. And that's the word of hope that every one of us must go away with, which is to say, if we come together, we work together, we definitely will win. Yes, sometimes we have our differences. Sometimes we will not agree on issues. The issue is that let's focus on those things that unite us. Bad governance, unemployment, insecurity. We are all united in it because it's affecting all of us. Cost of petrol, cost of food items in the market, food insecurity, all these things are things that unite us. Let's focus on that and get through that. When we get the things that we work and things begin to work very well, then we can come back and look at all our differences and say, hey, you were thinking this way, I was thinking that way. At this moment is to say to Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo, thank you so much for not just only joining us and making this whole today's live with Aisha really insightful and really interesting, but to also help us to keep the Zoom going for the number of times that I was thrown out of it as you were the co-host today. So thank you so much, and God bless you. And once again, happy birthday, and may God bless you abundantly.
Thank you. I want to ask one thing, Aisha.
Yes, sir.
I saw one man say that he loves you. He did not ask the permission whether he can tell a Sharia lady that he loves her.
And he also said he loves you. So he shared the love. I knew you were going to. It's a brotherly love.
Okay. I always ask for permission. Anytime I meet Sharia lady, anything I want to do, I always ask for permission. Please, can I tell you that I love you? before they cut my mouth.
No, they wouldn't. So he was giving a brotherly love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother, for joining and making today's live with Aisha so great.
Yeah. God bless you.
Amen. And you too. And you too. Thank you so much for all of you that joined today. There was a Prince Onyedika. Before we could get to his turn, he had dropped off. So thank you, everyone. Next week, Saturday at 5 p.m., by the grace of God, we will be having another live with Aisha. This time around, another guest, a different guest. So let's watch and see who that guest is. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Thank you.